Well, to the 2020 presidential election now, Kamala Harris is officially on the campaign trail. The 2020 Democratic presidential candidate held her first rally in her hometown of Oakland, California, Sunday, reportedly drawing in over 20,000 people to the event. That's more than former President Obama had at his first rally back when he launched his campaign in 2007. Harris has a long history of public service. She is a former prosecutor and California's first female attorney general. She was elected to the U.S. Senate in 2016.
And for more, we turn now to Rick Klein of ABC News. Rick, let's start off with Kamala Harris and that big campaign announcement this past weekend. There's a lot of talk about the crowds that she drew. What separates Kamala Harris from the rest of the ever-growing Democratic pack?
This was a statement. That event itself, I think, was a statement that she belongs in the big leagues. And no other candidate even tried to put together a big outdoor rally like that. 20,000 people out there, I think, doing it at her home base in Oakland says something as well. And I think when you look at Harris, you've got a sterling resume as a prosecutor at the local level and the state level, and then as a United States Senator. Her background, her multi-ethnic, multiracial background, I think, is a big calling card. California is a big opportunity for fundraising and for building a base of support. And I think she is someone that's trying to signal from the start that she belongs there in the conversation with the serious candidates for president.
Strong start indeed.
Yeah. Rick, so many people are, more and more people are starting to throw their names into the ring, their hats into the ring for 2020. As we look at these people who are entering, are there any who stick out to you? Who do you think could really be a viable challenger for President Trump?
Well, when you talk about 24 candidates, it's hard to say who belongs in each path. But I am struck by a couple of people that have gotten in early and a few who are staying out. Elizabeth Warren kind of got the campaign season started. And we know her by reputation. She is a star in liberal circles. A lot of people thought she should run 4 years ago. She decided not to. We've seen the moves already by Harris, so I think it will be a first-tier contender right off of the bat. Senator Gillibrand from New York, another one. I'm also intrigued by some of these people that are waiting a little bit. Bernie Sanders is one of them. He had a huge following last time. We know that it ended a little bit short for him. Is he able to capture the same momentum? Vice President Biden, he's going to be a very big name when and if he makes a decision to do it. And then Beto O'Rourke, who comes off of that losing Senate campaign with an unparalleled fundraising capability. He became a national, even international Democratic superstar. And he can wait maybe a little bit longer than the others because of the celebrity that he derived from it, even though the most recent thing he did was lose that Senate race.
Do you have a feeling of whether Joe Biden will actually enter the race?
You know, I go back and forth, and I talk to people that go back and forth, and I think it's legitimately unsettled in his mind. I have no doubt that he wants to be president. He's even said publicly that he thinks he'd be the best president, be the best matchup against President Trump. But he got close last time. There were family considerations that held him back, and I think there's an extra consideration now is that he's getting older, and there's this whole crop of new Democrats, younger Democrats, who are trying to make the same play. So how does he factor that in? He doesn't want to get in and lose, obviously. He also wouldn't want to give up on his probably last best shot.
Coming off the partial government shutdown, we're in the first week where the government has been reopened. You see critics of President Trump saying he caved.
Yeah.
How will this affect his 2020 chances among Republicans, among his base, and even to some extent, Democrats?
Well, look, the president has been able to depend on this base from the beginning, and he's got this core of a third of the country that thinks he can do no wrong. The group that he famously said he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue, right? So did he just shoot someone on Fifth Avenue by giving up on the wall? I'm not sure that's true. We saw it in our polling that his numbers softened throughout this. He's near a record low approval rating. His base is still behind him, but I think even as he plays this out, we've got only 3 weeks until another possible shutdown. Does he move forward with a national emergency to try to get the wall? I think for him to signal to his supporters how important this pledge was. It was an unequivocal pledge. We remember it from 200 some odd rallies. I'm going to build the wall. Mexico is going to pay for it. Clearly, the wall isn't going to be paid for by Mexico. Does he make a step to actually get it built? I think that is a core campaign promise. I think it highlights some of his vulnerabilities, though, overall, is that he needs to still come off as a guy that can get things done, as a deal maker, someone who delivers on promises.
Yeah. In the midterms, we saw President Trump really pushing border security. Nancy Pelosi then said that she thought the main reason they won the House was because of health care, and the Democrats pushing that. Rick, what are going to be some of the big issues come 2020?
Well, the biggest one is Trump, and it really will be a referendum on President Trump. That's how re-election campaigns almost always are. And I think there's a lot of things that go into that. The wall and border security is a big one because the president obviously has his feelings on it. Healthcare is another one because he has a different direction. I think the economy can become an overriding factor. There was just the numbers out today about the loss to the economy as a result of the shutdown, by some measures more expensive than the wall that the president wants. So I think all of those things go into it, but really it comes down to a thumbs up or a thumbs down on the president. He's the guy that, as of Election Day 2020, will have been in office for 4 years. How do people feel like it's going? That ultimately is the biggest factor typically in a re-election race.
Rick Klein, always great to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.